This Leo full moon is not disposable. This is not fleeting, right? This is the beginning of a larger story being told that is not going to really be revealed until the second half of this year. This is the beginning of a new process. And ask yourself, with this Leo full moon that is starting off February, what are you most afraid of? Are you more afraid of the success? Because a lot of us tell ourselves that we're so afraid to fail, when in reality, we're actually really afraid of what success looks like. We're actually really afraid of what it looks like when our prayers are answered. Because when life puts it into your hands, when your life is in your hands, we can become very afraid of fumbling that. Because you have no one else to blame except yourself. When you finally have the reins, where do you go? What is next, right? Don't allow that fear to control you. Don't allow that shame to control you. Remember that your inner creative is the cure. It is the only cure. And your inner creative is your inner child. And sometimes you need to baby that. You need to mother that. Mommy them. There is no shame in that. Jupiter in Cancer is going to be ruling all the Pisces energy that comes through this February. Do not be afraid to mommy yourself. It's all about the baby steps. The Leo full moon that starts off February, and then the solar eclipse in Aquarius later this month is bringing forth a huge awakening to your Leo Aquarius houses. Your Leo Aquarius houses are cooking something up. Let them cook. You don't know what's going on in the pot. All you need to do is stir. Just keep stirring. Smell all the smells. Let them cook. We're not going to know what February has to say until the nodes move into the Leo Aquarius axis during the second half of 2026. But this February is going to be giving you clues and hints along the way to the next major move that is coming towards you in your Leo Aquarius houses. The Leo full moon is really setting the stage for this month, and especially this week. Because Sun energy, Leo energy, doesn't need validation to shine. It's just a part of its natural process, right? And so the sun is shining light onto the repressed parts of you. The sun, this Leo full moon energy, which is something that I am welcoming because we have been really bogged down by this Aquarius stellium over the past January, over the past month. We've had this Aquarius energy really condensed in the sky, and that can feel a little bit dissociative, but it can also feel like you're just observing yourself. You're in this observer role. Now with this Leo full moon, we come into this heart activation, this solar plexus activation, and we come into the sense of like, where have I been overworked versus what is being underutilized, right? This is a great time this week to be checking in with yourself on what is working and what is not working. Because we are balancing on the line between Aquarius and Pisces energy. Mercury will be entering Pisces later this week, and this is the sign that Mercury is going to later station retrograde in later this month. Next week, we have Venus entering Pisces, and then we also have Saturn enter Aries, and it's going to conjoin with Neptune in Aries. Then we have the solar eclipse in Aquarius, right? We need to breathe in to the tension right now. Breathe life into the tension. Release. I gotta tell y'all, do your sun salutation exercises, right? Breathe into where your body might have or be showing signs of resistance, okay? This is honestly symbolic of the Leo full moon this week showing us where we have grown past these old identities, where we have grown past these other versions of ourselves. We don't need to force ourselves to the old model. We are now remodeling. February is about remodeling. It's about rebuilding. It's about learning how to be ourselves. And that can be very uncomfortable. That can be a little humbling as well, right? We need to breathe and feel the air on these wounds that are being aired out with this Leo full moon. The sun shines light on the lingering darkness. The sun is excavating, the sun is exposing, right? And the sun also brings life as well, literally. You don't need to put a Band-Aid on that wound. You don't need to cover it up. You don't need to be ashamed of it. You need to let it air out. That is the best way to heal. February is a time where we remember how growth is nonlinear. You're going to be growing in short spurts, especially with Saturn entering Aries next week. Aries understands those like short bursts of, and understanding when it's time to be dormant. That is also efficient. When we take action, we take it from a place of inspiration. That inherently is magical. You may find yourself, and so action is a magical process. Taking action is powerful. You may find yourself this month, if you are a sensitive person, maybe needing to walk outside with a psychic armor almost. You may find yourself, honestly, as a very deeply sensitive individual, I sometimes wear a hat when I go outside, and it makes me feel very protected. February might be a time where you're feeling the need to do that, especially with Saturn entering Aries. You know, we're becoming more aware of bodily health and holistic health as well. How can we heal ourselves, right? You don't need chaos to feel alive. You don't need struggle to feel alive. Make it easier on yourself. The jig is up. The jig is up. Once we get to Saturn and Aries next week, the solar eclipse at Aquarius, okay, the jig is up. Life is delivering it to us, putting it on our hands. You want to be grown now? Then be grown. You know what I mean? Aries is the baby, ultimately. So Aries has no idea that wishing to be grown up, and even as kids, we all were like, I want to be so much older. And then when you get old, you're like, I hate this. This is horrible. I am remembering how great it was when I was innocent and not aware of the responsibilities of the world and the darkness of the world. Saturn is the energy of when you know more, kind of the more depressed you become because you are aware of the realities of how things work, and that can be a very sobering reality. And when you have that heavy heart, it can be very difficult to take that action. Because with Saturn and Aries, we come to the realization, especially with the Pisces stellium that we'll be having throughout the rest of February, is that the possibility is scarier than the impossibility. But what I've realized about Aries, and something that will come into our awareness through February, is that like Aries likes to show off. Aries is very extra. And in turn, I remember how Aries is kind of the spark, the Big Bang. And I think about how the universe also likes to show off. The universe loves to do its big one. The bigger and more impossible and the more expansive your dreams are, the better. The more doors that close, get willing to keep going, right? Be willing to keep following those true dreams that you have, even if the doors are closing, and remind yourself that you may have to start going through the doors that you once scoffed at, right? The what is taking action on the impossible. That is what the universe likes to see. And that is when the how will just beautifully fall into place. Aries understands that because it is the first sign. And we are in this weird kind of dissociative state because we're at this threshold of the Pisces Aries energy. So stop asking for permission and stop taking no for an answer, right? And once you do, buckle the fuck in, right? Because it's a wild ride from there. Remember that with this Pisces Aries energy, trying to go through things alone and struggling alone is an illusion, right? No one is actually self-made. That's an illusion. Everything is built that's sustainable through layers of interconnectedness. Do not allow your losses to keep you stuck. This month is really going to be giving. Sometimes the fool, sometimes the jester is really the prophet. And we'll be seeing that play out. Good luck.